Kia ora, Lara here, and I am working on one of the sketches, day one of 30 days of sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, and today's sketch is one by Jessica Michaels. So this month the sketches have all sort of been supplied specifically for this challenge or this series of sketches, which is really cool, and I am creating with this sketch. So I'm just starting using a little bit of the speckled egg distress oxide, and you can see I'm getting quite vigorous with the sort of rubbing and blending this in because the table and the light and everything is wobbling quite a bit. So apologies if you feel a little bit seasick watching this. The table that I'm using isn't particularly stable, so that doesn't help either. I am at a scrapbook day, or a scrapbook weekend actually, in Invercargill. So I've just sort of bought the portable light and got that set up again, and just creating in the room with others. And yeah, so essentially the table's not the best, but it will be just fine. So on the sketch that Jessica had done, it sort of had a little bit of colour peeking in behind. So I've started with this. Now I have I've just added some drops of water because I've used a distress oxide. It just adds a little bit more texture. So where the water goes, it reacts with the ink, and it just sort of takes a little bit of the colour, or changes a little bit of it. Now this is a stencil, which I think might be a Stampin' Up! One that I got some time ago. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of texture paste with some moon dust glitter gel. So you can see the texture paste coming out there. And then the glitter gel, so it's got quite globby, it's quite old. I've probably left the lid off a little bit, but it still blends in beautifully with the texture paste. And when I sort of put it through the stencil and then let it dry out, it just has this nice sort of little sparkly white effect. And I actually, without mixing other colours in, which you can, so I could have mixed in some ink colour or some water paint colour or something like that to colour the distress, to colour the texture paste. I quite like just the white with a little bit of sparkle in it from that glitter gel. So unfortunately, or fortunately, after I've done this bit, when I go away and wash it, when I come back, I actually forget to do a little bit of this on camera. So right here I've got some shapes that I've cut out on the Cricut Joy, and I am using one of the Four Seasons, the winter collection by Close to My Heart, that's in the annual catalogue, and I've just gone ahead and backed some of the photos using some of the papers from this collection, the same ones as I've cut the star and sort of the foliage out. The photos that I am documenting are those of my cats, which seem to be a feature in a few of my layouts, but this time we were cleaning out the garage and found the box of catnip, and the cats have been a little bit what do I say, they basically look like they're on drugs, sitting in this box of catnip. So you saw on just before I've moved in here to add some stamping for the title. Again, there's the seasick feeling coming as the table wobbles a little bit. I am typing the letters, stamping the letters Catnipped here, and I'm going to fussy cut around the letters. But I went ahead, just going back to where I was saying before, I'd stuck down those Cricut shapes and things, sort of following the sketch idea by Jessica. Because I'm at a crop day, I've only got the Cricut Joy with me, so I sort of have to stick with the smaller sizes. The biggest width it can do is up to 4.5 inches, so don't have as much flexibility as if I had the full Cricut with me. So I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut those off camera, that you can see that I've done there. And there's those shapes and things that I said before about sticking them onto the layout. You can't see the little stars peeking out there, the wee white ones, but when you're actually looking at this in real life, they are quite nice and obvious, and just add a really nice little bit of texture and depth to the page. Now after sticking down the title, you'll see me do some writing, and I end up writing the word catnipped. I didn't want to write it, but I include that in my journaling, and as it's a mistake, I then have to go back and change it. So I'm just going to show you how you can cover up some journaling mistakes or errors when you're doing it straight onto the page. And so here sort of I write the word catnip. I'm like, okay, now what do I do? You can see me pause, and I sort of have to think about this one. So what I did was I went ahead and got some journaling strips, cut some white daisy into a 1/4 inch strip, and wrote the journaling in that strip, and then I cut it down so that I'm able to cover up that mistake there. So it actually looks really cute when it's done. So don't be afraid to document or journal directly onto your layout, because there's always ways of fixing it up or covering it up as you go. So happy with how that's sort of come about and how that's looking. I'm now just going to add some sort of tonal, some further stars using some of these acrylic shapes from these acrylic shapes packets. So you get 2 sheets, sort of 3 different colours that follow similar tones, and they're just really nice for popping onto pages, and you can normally find quite a few that fit with the colourways that you've got going on the page. So I'm deciding that I felt like the stars needed a little bit more definition, so I'm just using my black journaling pen, and I'm going over each of them just to give a little bit more lift off the page. So I'm doing the inside of this sort of star outline, and then I'm going to use a mist shimmer brush, so just to add a little bit more definition to those leaves and to try and sort of link in some of the darkness of the title. So I used the mist ink when I was stamping the letters for the Catnipped title, and I'm going to use the mist shimmer brush, just to add a little bit more colour to these leaves. So you can sort of see that coming on. I'm just sort of doing it in the centre of each of them and a little bit into the stem as well. So my next step is to actually go and add some more of this mist around as a bit of a splatter at different places. Now, this is something that I possibly should have done before I stuck down all these other bits, but you can see here I am just masking them with the back of a piece of scrap cardstock, and just moving around the page so that I'm getting some of that nice colour and a little bit of shimmer tucked into the background here. Here is some sort of close-ups of the layout and some other pieces. Now make sure you check the playlist for 30 days of sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, session 10 it's the 10th one, and check out the other layouts that people have done on this sketch and others. Thanks for watching.